All right, guys. Well, I'm back today with a brand new pistol can that just hit the market that came out of nowhere and blew me out of the water. What we are looking at is the Griffin Armament Revolution 9 Mod 4 silencer, and it's incredibly modular and very nice when it comes to specs and features, especially at the price point. Now, this is modular in overall length, as you can see with the seams having a short and long configuration, and it's also modular when it comes to the attachment system. Now, this actually ships with their Easy Lock barrel adapter, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's also compatible with standard 1/2x28 pistons, as well as a few others, and tri-lug adapters that Griffin Armament sells separately. Now, the great thing about this can is it's affordable, and the MSRP of the can itself is actually $674. And when you hear the specs and features and the quality of this can, you'll understand why I like it so much, especially at that price point. Now, in the box itself, you actually get the suppressor, you get the tool to adjust everything, and then it does come with that Easy Lock barrel adapter system, but not the muzzle device for your firearm. Now, that's because there is a wide variety of different thread pitches, and they don't want to send a ton and increase the price. So they remove the price from the can itself, and you have to buy these separately. But don't worry, the MSRP on the adapters is right around $55. They have them for 1/2x28s. They also have them for 1/2x36s, 1/2x20s, 13.1 left-hand threads, and 5/8x24. So you can get them to fit whatever you need. And that's going to come in handy if you wanted to swap this out on a wide variety of platforms, again, lending to the modularity. Now, the Easy Lock barrel adapter system is one of the first things I want to touch on because the Easy Lock works out incredibly well. Now, what that does is mitigate the chances of a baffle strike or a catastrophic failure due to vibrations in something like a tilt lock pistol. Now, a lot of times you're going to have to make sure your can is tightened with a traditional direct thread at least once a mag, maybe a little bit more depending on the gun and depending on the 1/2x28 system. But this one allows you to make sure it's tightened every 1 to 3 mags. So it really extends the life of the lockup on that gun while it is firing. So it's really convenient if you shoot a mag, reload, then shoot another mag. This is going to stay tighter longer, and in practice it does work, and it works well. It's not a gimmick. It truly is a great lockup system, and you can see it's also a quick attach lockup system with a longer and truncated thread pitch, allowing it to lock on there and snug up really nicely. And again, these are available in a wide variety of thread pitches, and it threads into that booster as you see there. Now, you can also buy a standard booster, which is 1/2x28, and I also tried that, and it works out really good. And honestly, the lockup is okay on that as well. So either way is going to be a good option. But if you are using that Easy Lock system, you will definitely notice a difference if you're firing extended round counts, especially as the suppressor heats up. Now let's talk about that suppressor heating up, the materials used, and kind of what it's rated for. This is actually made out of 17.4 H90 heat-treated stainless steel, and that is the Baffle materials. The housing itself is actually 7075 T6 aluminum, and then that has the body and end cap construction as well. Now this is a modular suppressor, meaning you can remove this section right here and reattach the cap at the end to shorten the overall length, or you can keep it in the long configuration. Both configurations are quiet, but one of the first things I want to mention is in the long configuration, this thing is amazing. One of the best performing sound suppressors I've ever had on the channel for a 9mm when it comes to pistols. Truly hearing safe with 147 grain, and even in the shorter configuration, it still does surprisingly well, outperforming some longer cans I've had in the collection for a very long time. So I love the sound performance in both the long and short configuration, but the long is where it's at. The other great thing about this can is the fact that it incorporates some really nice baffle technology. Now, what these guys are using in their can is actually their EcoFlow back pressure reducing baffles, and it truly works. When firing this on a pistol, there's no back pressure, no carbon debris, no hot gases back in your face. I don't know how they're doing it. It's pretty good tech, and it works out really well. Now, that is nice because if you've ever fired a standard pistol before, you'll know a lot of times with a suppressor on the end with traditional baffles kind of blows that gas back into your face. So it's definitely something to consider when you're using that. The other great thing about these baffles, as well as the attachment points, is they use the carbon guard technology. And those are silicone O-rings that typically last for 4,000 rounds before they start to break down. down. Now, as those seal up, they work out great, keeping that carbon away from your face. Now, you can swap those out, and they don't recommend you disassemble your suppressor unless you really plan on cleaning it, and they actually give you a cleaning schedule, which is pretty cool. A lot of companies don't, of about 2,000 rounds, so you only need to clean the suppressor every 2,000 rounds, and that'll help extend the life of those carbon lock or carbon guard O-rings on there. And in practice, they do an amazing job. Now, the tool in the box is great because it's got everything you need to swap out the end caps. My only complaint would be this end cap right here. That you can loosen up and tighten. One time I actually snugged it up while the suppressor was really hot. Then when it cooled down, it kind of locked into place. There was no way I could get this removed by hand, and there is no tool on there to remove that. Now, when I fired it again and it heated back up, I could loosen that back up. So something to consider maybe in the future if they had some type of technology that you could attach a tool on the end, maybe some type of nut driver I've seen people do. But very, very, very minor complaint. Just something to consider when it is like piping hot and you have gloves on and you go to tighten everything up. You may tighten it up so when it cools down, it kind of locks into place. You may have to heat it up again. But the idea and concept behind this is no tools are needed to switch it between the long and short configuration. And it works out great. No issues whatsoever. It's got really nice texturing there. And all of the tools are provided to swap out those end caps. In summary, it's got amazing sound performance. I love the fact that it's modular when it comes to overall length and short and long configurations. The low back pressure technology works great without a ton of gas back in your face, and the modularity of the attachment systems are absolutely awesome. Now for me, this is a winner, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm always blown away by what companies produce, especially Griffin Armament lately, because these guys have been absolutely killing it in the suppressor and firearms game. But I want to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. Thanks to Griffin for sending this out. Look forward to working with them on more reviews in the future because they are killing it in my opinion. Have a good one.